Columbus half marathon was my very first official half marathon. So this race is near and dear to my heart. And when I started training back then, it was just weight loss. I noticed that I was getting a little overweight. I had a video with my daughter sitting in my lap and all I could hear was the heavy breathing. I split and turned to the left and went to the finish. And I was like, what idiots are gonna do the full? And then now I'm here, I'm running a 100 miles race next weekend. When you're running with someone, the facade drops and you're just chatting about some of the deepest, not darkest things, but some deep things that you don't really talk about. We're crazy people. We're out there in the crazy elements running these races. So at the end of the day, we're all family. I don't know, sometimes I get goosebumps seeing everybody come out to support a cause that's greater than themselves.
If you are within the sound of our voice and you'd like to come join us, we're going to be talking to Andrew Buck-Michael. He's the ABC6 meteorologist, ABC6 meteorologist, Andrew Buck-Michael. We are the 1 Mile at a Time podcast, and if you haven't heard of us, that's because this is our first episode. We are doing 6 live episodes here at the Columbus Marathon Expo. The race is Sunday. It is currently Friday. Yes, Friday at 1 o'clock. But so we're here with Andrew Buck-Michael. I am Jeff. That's Hannah.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is our guest. You'll have to bear with us again. First episode, and we decided to pick a professional.
Yeah.
Andrew, you do this for a living. One of the reasons that we wanted to talk to you is you recently, a couple of years ago, started your own podcast. But you are not only a podcaster, a meteorologist, you're also a runner. So I think you have a really unique perspective on what running and what this community of running does to our community on a larger scale, because you see Columbus from a much wider spectrum than most of us do. So I would just love to hear from you, like, what this running community here means to you and the things that you see, the ripple effects that it has in the community.
Well, first of all, Columbus half marathon was my very first official marathon or half marathon. So this race is near and dear to my heart. And when I started training back then, it was just weight loss. I noticed that I was getting a little overweight. I had a video with my daughter sitting in my lap and all I could hear was the heavy breathing. So I was like, I need to sign up for something, do something. So I didn't tell anybody that I was running the half marathon. I just kind of signed up and just trained, worked hard, and kept it under the wraps until I was like, okay, I'm going to officially start letting people know that I'm doing this. And so from there, it was just kind of like a ball of yarn. It just kept unwinding and meeting all of these new people, run clubs. And the running community here is so welcoming. I think that's the big thing, is there's so many different running clubs. And it's every time I turn around, there's a new different running club. I'm like, I didn't even know this one existed. So I've learned a lot of the people in the community. Even walking into the expo, there were multiple people that stopped me just, hey, Andrew, and just fist bumps. And it's so cool. So it's really cool to see all of these people coming together, because I think 2 times a year we have a big celebration in Columbus, the Cap City Half Marathon, and then the Columbus Half Marathon and Full Marathon in the fall. So it's really cool to see everybody coming out. They've all been training, and this is just kind of the party that they all get to enjoy this weekend. And it's fun seeing everybody here kind of getting excited for the race this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm interested in this one because you talk about, you just decided this half marathon, you're going to train on your own, you're going to do this. What was the moment? There had to be moments where you're like, what am I doing? Right? So, or did you just love it from the get-go? What was the hook or the moment that you knew that this was going to be a lifelong thing?
That's kind of tough. Because when I first started, I didn't sign up for the race. I was like, I had it on the calendar, I was eyeing it, and I got shin splints within the first 4 or 5 days.
Oh no.
And I was like, all right, what should I do here? And one of my friends ran up at Akron, and he told me, he was like, hey, go and get proper shoes. So I went to Fleet Feet up on Lane. They got me fitted, inserts and everything. And it was amazing how quickly they just went away. Yeah. And I was like, okay, now get back on the training plan, take it smart. And so I think after that race, I remember running the half marathon back in 2016. That was the first half. And there's the split. Everybody that's run Columbus knows the split on High Street. And I split and turned to the left and went to the finish. And I was like, what idiots are going to do the full? And then now I'm here. I'm running a 100 miles race next weekend. So I was like, you you get the bug and you're like, what more can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do? You set small goals. And that's the big thing. I think if you're just getting into running, set small goals. Whether it's, for me, when I started out, I could only run maybe up 2.5 blocks. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try for 3 blocks tomorrow and just set small goals. Because that's, I mean, what you're doing. You're just challenging yourself, bettering yourself a little bit better than what you were the day before.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I know watching you on either Strava or Instagram, you're often posting pictures of yourself and your running community out there with you. You know, whether it's you're out with one person or you're out with a larger running club. What's a moment that your running community has come and really propped you up when you maybe a race wasn't going so well, or you just, needed a little oomph behind you?
Knowing so many different people here, if you're out there on the course and sometimes you hit the wall where you're in a bunk where you don't have the energy. And if you just have someone come up and just like pat you on the shoulder and be like, all right, let's go. Like, let's work together. So I can think of several times where it was either Rocks and Roots race up on the trails, or even the Cap City Half Marathon. I ran this back in 2018 or 2019. And Macklin and I, started out, we went way too hot. And I was like, there's no way I can keep going. And we just kept holding on for dear life. And eventually, I think it was mile 11 or 12. And he's like, dude, I got nothing left. And he's like, I got to walk for a second. And I was like, I'll walk with you. He's like, no. He's like, you go. And so I took off. And, sometimes you have those days when you're just feeling it. Yeah. And I just took off sprinting all the way to the finish. And after I was done, it's my PR. I was like, I probably still had a little bit more in the tank, but you never know when you're going to get those days where you're just like, you're feeling it. And honestly, if Macklin was not there running with me, I would not be able to do that. He used to be the president of Black Men Run, and now he moved away. But anytime he comes to town, we always have great talks when we run together. So just meeting all these people, and anytime you get a chance, connect with the other runners. And especially if you see someone that's in like a rough spot, encourage them too, because we're all big one community here. We're trying to help each other out.
Yeah. So tell me about a time that running or your running community has, or even just the sport has brought people together in a way that you didn't expect. Like what was a moment that surprised you about this community or running, or even just our Columbus community and how running brought them together?
There's sometimes when some people are just taken too early from us. And then there's these groups where they need to get back out and try to run, to recreate a run where someone might not be with us. And it's amazing when you just do even fundraisers. Second Soul out in Hilliard one time, they were just doing a fundraiser for someone, for the kids. And you had to bring a backpack. And it's, a female running club, but they invited me out. They were like, bring a backpack with school supplies. And it was so fun. And that's the only time I ran with them, since it is an all-female run club. But they invited me out. We had a lot of fun, and you just got to connect with a bunch of people, because when you're running with someone, the facade drops and you're just chatting about some of the deepest, not darkest things, but some deep things that you don't really talk about sometimes, whether it's just running mishaps and just fun stories. So you get to meet so many cool people. And yes, you can run together as a group, you can run solo, but I think if you get that opportunity to run with others around you, and there's so many opportunities here in Columbus to do so, you'll learn a lot about other people, and you can feed off of that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So you are a meteorologist. That means you get probably criticized more than anybody in this building right now for your forecast, right or wrong. It's supposed to rain this weekend. Number one tip for a nasty rainy day.
The big thing is your feet are going to get soaked. So it's all about controlling what you can control. That's the big thing. Controlling what you can control. And I misspoke. It was Soul Sisters. I don't know what I said, but that was the group before. But it's controlling what you can control. So if you can, avoid rubbing, avoid moisture as much as possible. So this weekend, I think there's going to be a lot of people that'll probably have blisters on their feet that might not have had them before, because this year it's been really dry. And if you know it's going to be wet, you can Google it, but I put together a little video yesterday. I'm like, this is what I would do if this was me running this race this weekend, because it's going to be wet. Do what you can. And at the end of the day, have fun. I know people are going for PRs. They're maybe going for qualifiers for Boston or something. It's going to be windy as well. So just at the end of the day, if you can walk away from it and say, I had fun, I think you won.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people often say marathons or endurance races like this, they don't owe us anything, right? We do all this hard work. We show up week after week, training in community, training alone, all of these hours away from our families, away from whatever responsibilities we have, and doing this thing. So what is like, when we have something where conditions might be less than ideal, right? What can people do to really, I guess, talk themselves down off of the ledge of what am I going to do now that I put all this hard work in? What if it doesn't go to plan? What would you say to them, your advice to keep them in the sport and keep pushing forward?
I think just push through it. And before you even start the race, envision what it's going to be like. Envisioning putting yourself in that situation. It's like, okay, if it's pouring rain, I've run races before where it ended up getting black flagged and they pulled everybody off the course.
Yeah.
And it was a half marathon and I got to 12.4 and I felt robbed. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's less than a mile left to go. But you had no choice. It was out of your control. And again, it comes down to control what you can control. Yeah. And I think that if you envision what could go wrong and then you get to the race, you know what? A lot of this stuff went for me. Maybe it's because you took that prep beforehand. You thought about, okay, what do I need to do? What can I try to make the best of the day? And just, I guess, the conditions. Because like you said, the races they don't owe you anything, but you just try to have fun out there.
Right.
All right, so we're obviously here at the Columbus Marathon Expo. You are a meteorologist here in Columbus. Can you talk about community and what this community, the Columbus community, just means to you? Whether it's from your running stance or just the amount of connections that you have in the community and just the overall impact that it has and what this city means to you.
That's hard to put into words. It's just cool. we're looking out here right now at the expo and you see everybody out here picking up their bibs, getting ready for these races, and imagine the amount of miles that this entire group has put in, the thousands of miles that they put in solo in their own groups. They've talked about this race when they're getting together with their run clubs. The amount of runners, you've got 15,000 runners, and every runner has had to have put in several hundred miles in the training. Some people maybe more than 1,000 miles to work up to this. Maybe they've been doing a slow build. So I think that you get to meet a lot of people. So in that community, you can really just feed off of all of the work that everyone's done, and you get to meet some really cool people. So I think the community here, when you go to the starting line, whether it's this race or any other race, just realize that, we're all a big family. We signed up for this race. We're crazy people. We're out there in the crazy elements running these races. So at the end of the day, we're all family. Yeah, it's a competition. See what place you can come in or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you're all one group moving forward 1 mile at a time and just putting in a lot of effort together. So I think that at the end of the day, we're all one big community.
So I like stats, and you talked about the number of people that are running either the half or the full. They were training for however many weeks, and we're logging X number of miles. If we take kind of our average with MIT between our half and full marathoners, take those averages, apply that to the 15,000 people this Sunday, that equals 8.1 million miles that all of you out there in the audience running the Columbus Marathon have logged over the past 15 to 20 weeks. That's an amazing amount of miles, and think of the impact that those miles then have on the people around you. You run out your front door, you're inspiring somebody else because they're like, maybe I can do that. They may not do it today, but you might inspire them to do that tomorrow. So 8.1 million miles logged by Columbus Marathon and half marathon participants has a ripple effect that is so much farther beyond those 8.1 million miles.
Yeah, it's cool because this is my favorite time of year too, like early fall, because so many people do run this race. And I see just in my neighborhood, I have this little tiny pocket where we're cut off between two highways, a railroad yard, and you can't really get in and out of our neighborhood. But this time of the year, I see runners come out that I don't normally see very much. So it's always fun seeing they've got to be training for the Columbus Half Marathon or Marathon. So yeah, it's amazing the amount of miles that everyone puts into this. If you think about it, over 8 million miles, it's 93 million miles to the sun. So we're almost a tenth of the way to the sun with how many miles everyone's logged putting into it. It's all perspective.
And this is why we have a meteorologist here to tell us how far we are from the sun, because that I had no idea.
Yeah, we're a tenth of the way to the sun with everyone's training. And then by the time you add in the race, we're probably there. So that's pretty cool to think about.
It is really cool.
So I want to talk about a little like force for good. Running is a force for good. So what would you say to somebody who is like getting into running for the first time? And Jeff mentioned this rippling impact that has had. So in what ways have you seen running show up as a force for good in the community? I mean, we talked about Soul Sisters and the backpack drive, I think, or the school supply drive. In what other ways has it shown up in a small way in your life or your family's life or just around you that has surprised you and just like filled you with this, heck yeah, I'm in the right place?
I'm part of Columbus Westside Running Club, and I joined them about a year once I got into running. And they started a 5K. It's every 4th of July weekend, and it's the Hilltop USA 5K. So there's a lot that this group does, the Columbus Westside Running Club. There's a small trail, probably maybe 3 miles, that they clean up every month. I think it's the 4th Saturday of every month. They go out and they clean up the trail there. So anything that's on the trail, they'll clean it up on the Camp Chase Trail. So that's one thing they do. And then they also have, with the 5K they put on every 4th of July, it's really cool to see all of the faces come back every single year because you get to recognize everyone. And I've emceed it every single year. And so it's really cool to see some of these runners. And I've done it now 3 times with my daughter. She's 10 now. So it's really cool to see some of these runners advancing in the age groups if they're fast. When I do the awards at the end, I was like, oh man, you're getting out of the under 18 now. You're going to be up there at the 20-year-olds. But it's cool to see how much that they've given back to the community, because any of the proceeds that they get from that race, they get back to the veterans, to the American Legion there. So they try to get back. And then it's just cool because it's around the 4th of July. So you get that patriotism as well. So it's a lot of fun. And when you get into races, and if you sign up for the one year after year after year, you start to recognize other faces. And it's just, I don't know, sometimes I get goosebumps seeing everybody come out to support a cause that's greater than themselves.
The Hilltop 5K has been an awesome event to watch grow and mature. I had the I'm going to call it fortunate pleasure of timing the first one. And that also was the day that Kayla Westbrook, who is one of our, she's like my right-hand person, if you will. Her first day with us was that race, and I dropped her off and I said, good luck, because I had to go to another July 4th 5K. Anyways, you talked about, you've now run that race with your daughter 3 times. You like seeing this just kind of evolution of your community around you. When I was hired to do what I'm doing today, which was 19 years ago, one of my predecessors said, a lot of what we do is to give the mom or the dad, an hour of quiet time, like some time away from the family and from the stresses of life, which is to a degree accurate. But what I've also noticed, and I do think this is a little unique to Central Ohio, because I get to see this in a lot of different places around the country, is the amount of families that are involved in this sport together, and the change that I see happening with just health and wellness in Central Ohio. Anything that, because again, you have a very unique place that you sit, that you see not just the running and walking community. There's a myriad of other things out there that are helping get people moving or just advocating for health and wellness. Can you talk a little bit about what you see here in Columbus about that specifically and how we're working together as families and communities?
Yeah, and I think we have to give a shout out too for all of the significant others that might not like running or walking, but they support the spouse that wants to get out there, because there's a lot of times where my wife is with the kids and I'm out running, but they're supportive and they're there to help them out. It was interesting. I have every morning when I do the weather at 4:25 in the morning, I have a graphic, and I came up with this. It's all automated, where if it's certain humidity, wind speed, temperature or the chance of rain or snow, it'll change the pair of shoes from green to yellow to red. So every morning I do this, and I used to always say it was like, if you're going out for the morning run, and I had someone reach out to me, it might've been New Albany Walking Club. And she's like, don't forget about us walkers out there either. I was like, I'm not, but I was like, I correlate with the runners, but she's right. I mean, there's so many people out there that just want to get out and move, and they reach out. And I mean, whether it's just fishing or kayaking or anything that's just outside, there's not been a time that I get done with the run and I regret not getting out there. Sometimes at the beginning, I'm like, you know what, today, maybe it might not be the best conditions, but you know what, on a day like Sunday, when it's going to be rainy and windy for us here in Columbus for the marathon, you can remember, hey, I was out there before, I've been through these elements, I can get through it again. So there's so many people that want to get out there, and the support of everyone else, whether you're running the race, cheering people on, because spectators, they're standing there this coming weekend in the rain and the wind. So, I mean, make sure if you are running or walking a race or partaking in it, make sure that you're cheering on the people that are cheering you on and thanking them for braving the elements.
I love one of the things that we always tell our MITers as a piece of advice. We do this big gathering together at the Hyatt before. We do a little pep talk. And the thing that I feel like I always say is, guys, make sure you thank every single volunteer that's coming out. And this weekend's going to be even more so, because they're going to be standing out in the middle of the rain. And so I think it's so interesting, and it really helps bring yourself outside of yourself when you're in the middle of a pain cave or in really poor conditions or something. It's like really shifting your gratitude towards the people around you, whether they're cheering for you or handing out water or giving you your medal at the end. I always say, make sure you say thank you to every single person, because it'll get you out of the pity party in a pinch. So, yeah.
Especially this race in particular. I mean, it hits you in a different way every single mile when you see those champions every single mile, because you may be in the pain cave and you're trying to get through it, but you see these kids that have been battling cancer down at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And so you realize that this race is bigger than you. At the end of the day, you get to go home and spend time with your family. But some of these kids that you're going to see out there every single mile, they've been through a lot. And so it all puts everything into perspective. We get the opportunity to get out there, run these races 1 mile at a time. But anytime you get a chance, hit those big foam hands, because they're a power up and they're going to help you get through the next mile.
Love it.
All right, we're about to wrap up here, and we like to ask 2 different questions. And the first one is, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, right, with your previous piece there, but your most memorable mile. If you could pick 1 mile that you have run that has had the biggest impact on you, or the most just resounding memory that you may have.
It was the first half marathon I ran, and it was, I don't know what it's called, the memory mile, Angel Mile. Because before the race, and this was again my first half marathon, I got this really bad pain in my hip. And so I contacted the medical race director and went to go see him about 2 weeks before the race. And without getting an MRI, doing x-rays, we basically assumed that it was probably a stress fracture in the hip. So he's like, if it's too bad, just walk, just take it in. But that Angel Mile, I mean, when you get up to that, I was like, man, I mean, I was choked up, and I was like, I'm out here running this race. I didn't want to keep going on, but I was like, you know what? I can. Yeah. That's the big thing. I can keep pushing forward. So that one, I think, is probably the most memorable mile that I've ever had in a race, because you're there, you're getting to do something, and someone else might not be able to have that opportunity. So pushing on and doing something that you can in honor of someone else.
It's powerful. Oh, all right. To end, as I kick over my water. So tell us about, we're going to just do something fun and funny.
Okay.
Because because I know the way I ended my podcast with you, I'm pretty sure we talked about poop. And so I said I would never bring it up in front of you again. I was so embarrassed after the fact, but here we are. We're doing fun stuff.
Everybody poops.
So thank you.
Everybody
They do. Yes. So if you could run with anybody at all, could be somebody that's no longer with us, or somebody that's here, could be a famous person, maybe Harry Styles after his incredible debut at the Berlin Marathon. Who would you run with?
That's tough. That is
If you answer Harry Styles, I'm going to be really disappointed.
I'm not going to answer Harry Styles.
All right.
All right.
Boy, that is a tough question.
It's
an
Fred.
easy one. It's Fred. I broke Fred. But we did get a PR that day. I think it's tough because I think that you would want to go with maybe someone that you don't have the opportunity with. Maybe they're not here anymore, or
Right.
just someone that you would want to connect with. But I think that I don't even really want to name a specific person if I'm allowed to. I want to run with someone who is in the pain cave and they don't want to keep going on.
Yes.
Because to be there to help motivate somebody when they think that they need to drop out, and maybe at the end of the day they do, but to be there, to be with them, to support them, to lift them up, to encourage them, that's, I think, who I would want to run with. And again, that can be anybody, but I think that that's the biggest thing is like, if you can get out of it more than what you signed up for, and you get to go home and, I don't know, get that like fuzzy, warm feeling on the inside, that's what I would pick.
Awesome.
Abraham Lincoln would be fun too, probably.
Well, that's my Halloween costume.
Hey, you're as tall as him.
Really perfect.
Honestly, you probably had quite possibly the best answer to that question I could have ever hoped for. We thought it was going to be a silly question. But really, like, that's a fabulous, fabulous answer. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on to 1 Mile at a Time. We'll have all of these posted to the interwebs at onemileatatime.run. In the meantime, you can follow Andrew at Weathering the Run, his podcast. It is definitely something to tune into. So check out Weathering the Run. And have a great race, Columbus. We out.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Fred.
Yay, Fred. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun. It was good.
Yes. It was so good to see you,
You too.
actually, and have fun conversation.